It's KFM 95.9, the Gollywood story. We've had this young lady on our show before when she dropped Nadia Naked. But now I think we deserve a catch up. We deserve to know what's been going on with you. A lot of things have been happening on TV. There's a Gen Z that's currently happening, and then there's also Naked Room that happened. So Nadia Nakai is in the studio. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. I'm so happy you invited me over.
Oh, no, super. So what's been happening? How did Naked Room, by the way, start?
Naked Room actually started during lockdown. Lockdown happened last year. It's March. I still call COVID Pisces because it started in March.
Yes.
Anyway, and I was thinking of like innovative ways to still continue generating content and making money.
Sure.
And I decided to work on Naked Room. I shot it in my living room because obviously there's no one else where we could do it. I got an alcohol sponsor, shout out to House Wine.
Yeah.
And then they came through, and I thought it was really dope because every time I've been interviewed by a fellow peer as opposed to an interviewer, no distance to you, but somehow like when you're comfortable with people that you've known for so long, you open up so much
100%.
more. So I thought the Naked Room, the Naked Truth, it would be really dope to have some of my peers come through and I interview them, and it was so amazing because they really divulged a lot of personal stuff about them.
So, but how was it being on the other side? Because as much as you thought they would get a bit more naked with you, it must be some kind of a mind shift that you are not giving the answers. You almost have to check all the time that you're not talking more than they are, because now you're the presenter and you are no longer the person who's being interviewed.
100%. And also I was the producer of the show. So I have a newfound respect for people that do TV, the people that do what you do. I'm sorry I was late today. Because you weren't there. It's so bad. You have no idea. It's so bad. And you know, like when you have a sponsor on board, you have to deal with clients and stuff like that. And that's normally not my realm. Normally that's my manager or whatever. But I had to be really hands-on because I was the producer and the creator. And I remember a client was on set with my house that day, and I had a really dope big artist that was supposed to be scheduled to come that day, and he cancelled on me 15 minutes before.
Ouch!
I've done my makeup, I was sitting, I was waiting, and there's no option. I can't get a replacement. Client actually had to pack their stuff up and go back home. That stuff is so stressful, and dealing with their expectations and my expectation, dealing with channel, being able to submit the episodes and making sure that they get approved on quality control and get back and forth and getting the codes and oh my gosh, there's so much that goes into making TV that I have a newfound respect for it. So it was very difficult.
I can imagine, because I think that's what we always speak about, even when we go on Twitter and we're ranting, we're like, these people, they don't understand. And then you guys have managers that are also
difficult.
Yeah, man. You know, it's like you're dealing with two personalities, and we already understand that you guys have got like ridiculous schedules, right? We already get that. And then when the manager also has a ridiculous schedule, we're like,
I'm telling you now, must we
go? Where must we go? It's something really. But let's rewind a bit back. How was your come up? I mean, this industry is known to be something else, you know. But how was your come up? How was your come up being inducted into the hip hop fraternity? You're a lady, you know. You get to meet the likes of Casper, and you get into the family tree. How was your come up?
My come up was a lot more difficult, I think, because there weren't a lot of girls. There's a lot of girls now, not saying that it makes it easier for them, but back then, my class of the girls that came up, it was a lot harder to get on the stages. It was a lot harder to get your music played on radio. It was a lot harder to even get collaborations or even to be asked to be featured on a lot of songs. And you really had to like push and push and push and knock on a million doors. And the nice thing about working with Family Tree and Casper was I learned so much, because he is a guy, he's a big artist, one of the biggest artists on the continent, and I was able to use that heavyweightness to be able to bully myself into certain situations that I deserve to be in, but because I was a girl, it might not have come as easy, you know. And I think because of that, and I'm not even talking about just myself alone, I keep referring to my class of female rappers that came up with me. Because of us, I think the new generation that's coming out, the Gen Z generation, is really, not saying they're getting things a lot easier, but I think they're getting celebrated a lot more because of the accomplishments that we were able to achieve in our time and continue to achieve throughout our careers. I mean, the fact that some of us are able to buy our houses and drive amazing cars and start businesses and start other businesses and sell out clothing ranges and travel overseas for your music, travel to other African countries. A lot of opportunities have come for us, and it's been hard. It really has.
What kept you going? Because I know I'm so impatient. It's not a positive. It's not a trait I should be boasting about. But I'm impatient. What kept you going? Because I feel like if I knock on the same door 10 times, something says maybe that door is not for you. Maybe just move on from that door, knock next door. What kept you going? What kept you stuck? I don't want to say stuck, but what kept you steadfast on your path to being this amazing female rapper?
What definitely kept me going was, I'm not going to say that even in the turmoil and the hardness of what I was doing, one, I have a passion for it, so there's no other option for me. Two, it's not like I never got pats on the back. I did, even though I still had my small wins that motivated me. I still had those accomplishments that might have not been monumental in my career that still kept me going, because it's like, if I can get this, then I can definitely get that. If I can do this, then I can definitely do that. If I can be here, then I can definitely be there. You know what I mean? So there was definitely always something that was willing to be celebrated and definitely motivated me in my career.
Is there a conversation around these closed doors, even amongst female rappers or even female to male rappers? Is there a conversation around what is this gatekeeping, what is this closed door scenario that is so hard on the female star than it is on the male counterpart? I mean, I know that our world is like that. I know it's crafted like that. I know that it is easier for men, you know, I do know that. But are there any conversation happening within the hip-hop fraternity around the conversations of these locked doors? Sometimes they don't even just close, they're locked.
I don't know if there is conversations, because I'm not a person that's trying to have conversations with my peers, you know. I don't know, like I'm not trying to kumbaya with people. Like, you on your own train, I'm on my own train. And to be honest, I feel like there's gatekeepers, yes, but work so hard to a point where they can't ignore you. There's no door that is deserving for you that will stay closed forever. It's going to get to a point where they're going to have to open that door, because you've become that much of a force. You become that much of a hard worker. Your reputation surpasses you. I honestly feel like that's what happens. And also having a learning spirit also helps that thing. I'm not walking into rooms thinking I know everything. I'm learning from every person that I meet every single day. And I think that is what inspires a lot of people in the industry. So I personally have had negativity towards me in the industry that is annoying. But I know, I then think, okay, so if I can't win this conversation, I'm going to go there and win that conversation. So if in SA, they don't want to put me on lists or give me my awards, okay, then I'm going to go to Africa. And I'm going to have those conversations there. And I'll have those conversations, I'll be on those lists, and I'll win those awards. I'll get those accomplishments. There's so many doors. Keep it moving. I'll go to the next door, like you said. This door doesn't open, I'll go to the next one. I don't think there's anyone that's powerful enough to close a door on the whole industry in the whole world. If I get closed today here, what's the next step? Okay, where am I going? Which house am I going into? Because this house is crazy. You know, but I don't think, to answer your question, I don't think there's a conversation that's being had with the guys about the females in the industry. I think conversations happening with the women, the female DJs, the female playlisters, the female producers on television, the female rappers, the female vocalists. They having conversations. That's why you have like Shakana doing her roast fest. Gigi Lemaine had a Gigi show and had a whole bunch of girls come through. Miss Cosmo is one advocate for female collaborations. Most if not all of her songs have female artists on the track and on her lineups and all that. So I think it's a conversation mainly with girls. And honestly, I think we have the most power to actually make the change, to be honest with you.
Because that's what I thought the Kumbaya would do. I thought that would be the purpose it serves, that if we are a group and we are talking in one voice, and it does not have to be that we agree in absolutely everything. You cannot agree with everyone, even your loved ones. You don't agree with everything they do, right? But I thought that if there was almost like a movement happening, then even the knocks become lesser. You know, like you said, your class of female rappers, as much as you don't want to say it made it easier, but it definitely took down the knocks. You know, if there were 10 knocks per female, maybe they're now at 8. And then the next generation will be at 6 until we get to a point where it is a knock. If it's a yes, it's a yes. If it's a no, it's a no. You know what I mean? So I thought that Kumbaya thing would work for you.
I think the Kumbaya thing has to work on different levels. It can't just work as Kumbaya as female artists. It doesn't work like that. It works with, like, when I got the opportunity to open up for Chance the Rapper with Castle Lights. I walked into that boardroom and there were 3 women there. And I know, not to take away from the men that were there, but I know that the women were most likely my biggest advocates in that boardroom.
100%.
You know? And I think the Kumbaya has to come with women in different industries. It can't just be hip-hop female artists, because when you're knocking on the door, the boardroom is filled with men, they're not going to hear anything.
You also go there, your guard is up now.
100%.
You might even do or say things that you were not supposed to do because you feel like I'm walking into a war zone.
Exactly. And they might not be as receptive to our narratives as women because they don't understand it.
100%.
Whereas if you have women that are in that business, they are custodians of that career, and they're in the boardrooms.
They fought a battle.
They fought a battle for you.
Yeah.
They fought a battle before
Yeah.
you even walked into the boardroom.
Yeah.
So even with sports scene, and the lady that runs not all of TFG, but my range, whatever, is a female. The lady that's head of social media is a female. And I know that they will always understand my perspective when they're in the boardrooms, and I can't defend myself in those moments. So I think the Kumbaya really has to be with all women in all job titles.
Yeah. It's like the stakeholders of this company we call hip-hop.
Yes, 100%.
All of them have
all
to.
Of them have
yeah,
to.
I'm with you. I'm with you. So I want to talk about nakedness for a bit.
Yeah.
I know there's a song of yours. I think it is Creatures because I'm like a big fan of Creatures. Just because I'm naked, I'm not going to open my thighs.
Yeah.
Was it a conscious decision to be more sexy, to be more, more naked than, I don't know, maybe an R&B star, you know? Was it a conscious decision, or you just got brought up maybe with that type of hip hop, so for you it was like not even a thing?
I'm not going to say that I didn't have influences. I think I just grew up and just became a woman.
Yeah.
And I was a woman that was very proud of my femininity, my sexuality, very in touch with that, and not attesting it to a fear, in a sense of, if I dress this way, if I portray myself this way, then I deserve to get beat up or raped or whatever the case is. It was more of an expression and emancipation of myself and the women that listened to my music as well. So it wasn't a marketing strategy.
You were not trying to get raunchy.
No. It wasn't a discussion in our studio
Yes.
session that, Nadia, okay,
bikinis
show
only.
more bums. Yeah. No, it was never that. It just was me enjoying getting my hair done and my nails done and my face done and my edges laid and wearing sexy clothing and being comfortable in my skin and performing with shiny leotards or whatever the case is, because the light really reflects well. It was always something that I just enjoyed and loved. And people resonated with it and some people didn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. I think a lot of people would DM me and say, Nadia, you made me so comfortable in my skin and so comfortable in the way that I am. And also the double standards of a lot of American artists, because I mean, Cardi B's got a whole music video where she's butt naked and she's literally got her nipples covered, and that was always celebrated.
Yeah.
But Nadia Nakai will twerk in a jacuzzi, and it's like, oh my gosh, she's selling sex.
Yeah.
Guess what? Guess what, my favorite too. Of course, I'm gonna use what I have to sell my music. I'm gonna use absolutely everything.
Hundreds.
If I got a big booty, I'm gonna use it. If I got nice hair, I'm gonna use it. If I got a Caspian vest behind me, I'm gonna use him. These are the things I have.
Use what you got.
Exactly. And I'm gonna use it till it run dry.
100%.
You can't be mad about me.
You cannot. And I suppose the constant policing is what gets annoying, even if it doesn't deter you, but it gets annoying because I think there's such a bigger conversation to have that if you don't want sex to sell that much, then stop going gaga over booty.
100%.
If you treat booty like anatomy of any other part of my body, then you're not going to obsess over it and you're not going to feel so offended, because I think a lot of people get offended by nakedness.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
When's that? You're actually asking for it now.
Yeah. Now you're asking for it.
Yeah.
I want to tap that, because I would see even on a random person will post like a picture where they're really sexy and naked.
Yeah.
And a person will be like, yeah, I would like to. I'm like, but it's not an invitation.
It's not an invitation.
It's a celebration of my back.
100%.
Not your invite.
But I want to defend a few people, because yes, the issue is with men. The issue is men need to understand that when a woman is dressed a certain way, it's not about you. It's got nothing to do with you. But I remember when I was on tour years ago, and there was a guy that tried to grab my ass. Jesus. He didn't even connect. Do you know how many of the family tree brews went into that guy? So even afterwards, I was just like, I don't know what happened. It happened so fast. I don't even know why they were fighting. I wasn't even aware what was going on.
For you, yeah.
The way they defended me, I literally just found myself lifted onto the bus. Then the Bruce turned around and beat the bejesus out of that guy. And I didn't even know what was going on. I had to explain to me afterwards, like, that guy touched your ass. And I'm like, I don't know. Then my ex-manager Bash was like, I think it was Bash or Tseho, someone was just like, no, Tseho was fighting them also, was like, yo, I think that guy got beat up for nothing. Then Spike was like, no, he got beat up for the intention of what he was trying to do.
Was it Spike?
It was Spike.
Because I know Spike.
It was Spike and Pepper and Tseho. They all went in.
Good.
And they were like, we beat him up for the intention of what he was doing. Even if he didn't touch you, the fact that his hand was going to, no.
Why,
stop, no, don't.
Why are you that invasive?
Exactly.
Yeah, why are you that invasive?
I didn't even have to say, what, wait, wow. No,
you
no.
Say,
yes.
You know, because
and that happens a lot with me. A lot of the people that I have around me, the people that you'll see me celebrate on my social medias that I'm out with all of my friends, I always feel comfortable with them. I never feel compromised because they look after me like that. And I know that there's terrible men out here as well. But I just want to say that there are some good men also. Yeah. You know?
And I suppose that is the greater conversations. Every time we talk about GBV, it's the conversation on how it gets more inclusive. Yes, you can agree that even other men feel like men are trash.
Yeah.
You can agree that for a generalization purpose, that hashtag works. You know, but I think there is a greater conversation to be had around how we as a society can rally behind GBV and guard against it, as opposed to just, you know, alienate certain people, you know, miss an opportunity to educate, because I think sometimes we do miss that opportunity, and I get it.
No.
Tempers go high.
Yeah.
If somebody comes here and calls you a B, you are going to educate them 9 months later.
100%.
At that moment, you are reacting to something.
Yeah, 100%. And that men are trash, I completely hear your analogy of it works, because yes, it's a generalization, but there's a lot of men that are, you know, they live under that hashtag. And, you know, I've seen so many people that are in relationships with people that they trusted, and they're involved in situations that they shouldn't be involved in with men that they believe were supposed to protect them. That's why I feel like sometimes it's so crazy that you could feel safer with someone that's a stranger than a person that you have sex with and you lay your head at night with, and you cry on their shoulders and you confide in them. Those are the ones that most likely are going to drag you across the floor and you know, do a whole bunch of stuff to you, or force themselves on you, or whatever the case is, because of the mental manipulation that they've done on you over years to get to a point where they feel like they can get away with it.
Yeah. And for us constantly being around men, I think that is a conversation that we honestly continuously need to engage in. Don't shy away from it just because it's a bunch of men and they feel like you are hurting me by calling me trash. You know, don't be scared to engage, because the more we engage, the more we see each other's point of view. You know, you are not 100% right. I'm not 100% right. So we can only be 100 when we continue to engage. Yeah. So you dropped, I think it was last year sometime, the deluxe version of Nadia Naked.
Yeah.
Why?
It was lockdown again. So
hey, lockdown kept you busy.
Lockdown kept me busy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Honestly, 2020 was a very productive year for me. Very, very productive. One of the most productive years of my whole career, holistically. Because I went down and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna stay down. I'm going to really push and try make something out of this moment. And so I worked on the music. I did like a visual album video thing for I think I added about 4 new songs and 1 international feature, which is Vic Mensa, who I shot the video with recently now in Ghana, which is also really dope. And I was like, I have to release stuff. I don't want people to think that we're defeated as artists, because we're all crying. We're all like, no, and the government's not looking after artists. They're all getting billions. The billions.
And they blew it in 2 days.
Exactly. And it didn't go missing. Didn't it go missing at one point?
They blew it in 2 days. That's what I'm saying.
And the creative sector are not getting any of the aids, as much as we applied for it and did a whole bunch of stuff. When I don't know anybody that actually received any aid from that, you know? So I was like, I'm not going to let this defeat us. I'm not going to let this feel like we're uninspired, especially for myself. And it was definitely high-key, very depressing. And I think I was just motivated to just keep the spirits high for myself and everyone else that's in my network. Yeah.
What did COVID teach you? And I think maybe even Naked Room was part of the learnings, but what did it teach you in terms of adapting? Because a lot of us struggled with adaptation. So even people breaking curfew rules or even COVID protocols, I don't think they're going out and saying, I want to be an outlaw.
No.
You know? It's really the struggle to adapt to a new normal.
100%. I think the one thing that I learned personally was financial stability. I think a lot of us in the entertainment sector were living check by check, thinking that we would be able to do this for the rest of our lives, not realizing that we need to invest, we need to save, we need to think of rainy days, things that our parents did when they were our age. And you know, it's crazy because my mom would always be on my back of my head, no, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I was like, I'll get there. Mama, let me live my life. Let me live my life. I'll get there. I've got time. You know, I'm making so much money. I'm good. This money's going to keep coming in. And I was like, I wish I did my financial management a lot better, which I've now taught myself to do a lot better, like getting a broker that deals with stuff like that, an accountant that deals with my financials and making sure that I'm paying SARS and all of that, to make sure that, because I know that for a fact that those relief funds were not going to be paid out to artists that weren't paying tax.
100%.
And a lot of artists didn't get that. They thought you're just going to get a relief fund just because you're an artist. No, you get you qualify for a relief fund if you've been paying tax.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people aren't. So that's why I was like, okay, I need to really make sure that my stuff is in order, really make sure that my books are good. And that was a learning curve as an individual, as a citizen of South Africa.
Yeah.
What are you doing to make yourself secure?
Yeah.
That's what I really had to learn.
And going forward, I mean, I see you a lot on TV now. You've had The Naked Room.
Yeah.
Now you're busy with Gen Z. Was that always a plan? I know with Naked Room, not so much because you were trying to diversify your space.
Yeah.
But was that the plan, or did Gen Z happen because Naked Room happened?
I'm sure it had an influence in it because before I did Gen Z, I hosted a show on MTV called Your MTV Raps the Scoop. And that was also very successful. And it was also not a very high budget show. And I don't know, they never told me that's the reason. But I'm sure it had an influence.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm leaving music behind. Like I said, offline, I'm going to always be making music. But I don't think this is the climate for me to be dropping new songs, personally. One, because Amapiano is being very dominant right now in our industry. And two, it's difficult to be able to promote your music as a hip-hop artist if you can't do shows, you can't do pop-up concerts, you can't do stuff like that to be able to promote your music. And I can't because obviously I have to listen to the regulations of COVID and the pandemic. So TV is something that I'd always dabbled in. And I'm like, okay, when I got the opportunity, I was like, definitely, I'd love to, because one, it is a lot more secure. Two, it's less hostile. Three, it's less toxic and pressure on myself, because music, I think a lot of artists are dealing with mental health issues, because I went through serious depression and serious anxiety because of what I was dealing with personally, what I was dealing with globally with the pandemic, and what I was dealing with as an industry, and where hip-hop was standing at the moment. And I had to find something to find my center and get better at looking after my mental health, if you know what I mean, and how to be happier and get myself out of the conversations I was having with myself. And TV has definitely given me a bit more of an anchor right now, because before my anchor was shows. I was always happy when I went out of town and performed in Valcom or whatever the case is, but that's gone now. I can't do that anymore. So my anchor was completely non-existent. So I'm trying to find that now in TV.
And how do you get, I mean, yes, you can have TV as an anchor, as a stick that you can lean on to, but how do you get outside of your head? Because outside of what the conversations you are having with yourself, there's then this group of people, fans, that are constantly singing your praises. And you are like, did you see that I didn't even wake up today? And you are out here telling me that, go girl, blow it up, you were phenomenal. And I'm like, which part of me is phenomenal? Because I'm out here crying my eyeballs out, and the rest of the world is singing praises. For what exactly?
Well, I've never not have self-love. So even if I'm going through the most, I know who the hell I am, you know? So I know, like, when I'm getting praise, I get where it's coming from and I appreciate it and it helps. But it's not even about what the fans are saying to me. It's about the conversations I have with myself, where even with that, I can still find a negative situation, you know? And I think it's a girl thing also, because we create issues. Overthinkers, you know? And I think the main thing is, like, my fans, I love how they support me so much, but it's more my intimate circle, like my manager, my best friend, my family, how they reinforce or like feeding my soul with positivity and getting rid of worry, because worry is the reason for anxiety, getting rid or making me feel more secure in myself as an individual. That helps a lot.
Did you ever feel like you were losing your essence at any point in your career, whether it was during the come up or whether it was when the blow up happened? Did you ever feel like I'm losing my Nadia-ness? Because you say you've got self-love. So I'm trying to see if there was ever a point where it felt like, where is my Nadia? Where is the Nadia I love? Outside of all the euphoria around me, where is me?
I am in a better place now in finding who Nadia is. I definitely was lost like a few years back, I think when I was in a relationship, because it took so much out of me and took so much away from me, and the individuals that I think I was around were contributing to how low I felt, you know? So once I got away from certain situations and certain people, I found myself getting a lot happier. I found myself finding the Nadia that was in 2016 and the one that was very sure of herself and getting her confidence back and really just believing in herself again. And that's why it's so important to get to a point in your life where you don't need people to reassure you. You are your own reassurance. Yeah. And I think I was in a situation where I looked for reassurance from people that didn't want me to be.
The bright star.
You were too bright. I was, maybe. I think I was too bright. I was too confident. I was too sure of myself. And I think it was threatening to a few people. And it caused a lot of breakage towards my self-esteem and my confidence, which I'm working at getting back now.
I'm glad you're at a better place, because it means you have gotten back at least a whole lot of it. Because I think speaking true to who you are always needs you to know who you are, because you cannot speak true to Nadia unless you know who Nadia is. So getting back Nadia will never be easy if you are not even sure who Nadia is. 100%. How did Family Tree happen, by the way?
Family Tree happened is crazy because when I was in varsity, there's a guy named Bash who used to manage me. And we were part of Feel the Dream music with ganja beats and whatever. And then we went our separate ways. He dumped me.
I mean, Bash, really?
We went our separate ways. And then I signed to Cypho, Sid Records, and I worked there for a bit. And then I remember me and Sid Records parted ways because he had a big, amazing job opportunity, which he still does at Mnet or DSTV. And then I was like, okay, cool. So we separated amicably. Then I bumped into Bash was Casper's photographer now. He joined Family Tree.
Ah, so it is Bash Vision. I think you said on my phone as Bash Vision. Okay,
Bash Vision. Yeah. So then I remember we had a gig in Zimbabwe, and that's when I used to like travel with by myself with my music on a flash, because I didn't even have a DJ. I didn't have a record label. I didn't have nothing. And then I bumped into them at the airport, and I was like, I was familiar with Bash because Bash used to manage me. And then I was like, yo, this is what I want to do, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, cool. And I spoke to Casper and Tilly and all of them at the airport. And then a few months later, I think it was still in the same year, I got a call from Bash, and Bash was like, let's have a meeting. I've had a conversation with the boys, and they're really open to signing you. So I remember we met up at a restaurant, we spoke about it, and I was like, I'm totally down because I'm looking for a new team. It would be great to work with Casper. And Casper and I always used to bump into each other at studio when I was in varsity, because we used to record at the same studio with Ganja Beats. So I was familiar with them. And then, and then I joined Family Tree, and then I was working with Bash and the team, and then Bash left, and I continued working with the team, and I guess we haven't stopped.
Do you have any plans to leave Family Tree?
I have plans to grow. I don't think it's a thing of me leaving Family Tree. I don't think I'd ever leave and say, I have officially left Family Tree. I don't think it will ever be that, but I think growing in a sense of doing my own things musically, starting my own businesses in the music sphere, working with different people, and I know that there'll always be support there, because it's not like our relationship was always a family-orientated thing. It wasn't to get monetary value. Casper wasn't helping me because he was getting money out of me. He was helping me because he wanted to progress my career.
So I always make this example of Jay-Z, right? Obviously, he's got Rock Nation, and he's got a gang load of artists under him. I always imagine the internal battle of, but I'm the superstar. And I am the biggest superstar. I mean, I am Rock Nation. You know what I mean? I always wonder if that also plays an insecurity role in people that do come in. So not even on him, on people that do come in. Did you ever feel like I would have to live in his shadow somehow, because he is Family Tree?
100%. And I think it's also why we've worked so well, because I'm a woman as well. We didn't have ego battles. I allowed him to... I didn't want to battle him in that superstardom. He was the superstar, and I was okay with that. And I think it definitely was a case of me being a shadow in an instant, in a way. But I was okay to humble myself because I knew that I hadn't accomplished the stuff that he did. I haven't been able to have multi-platinum albums and sell out stadiums, not just shows, and do the things he did. That I was okay to humble myself and say, you are the star. I'm not trying to be as big as you and bigger than you now. I know it's going to happen. I think now it's going to happen. But now I've kind of like, I'm choosing my path.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm saying, I don't know if I can say.
I don't know.
Okay,
We'll
if you're, okay, yeah. It's so difficult not to say. I'm not saying if you, I'm done with you. No, because I think that's, when people do that, that's becoming an ego thing, and you're not self-driving yourself that, babes, this is Casper Nyovest. Like, we're not the same.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. But I do feel that in order for me to grow and be Nadia Nakai next to a Casper Nyovest, I do need to kind of deviate my path a bit.
I think it's so wonderful that you acknowledge the earning of stripes, because I think it's something that is missing hugely right now in our industry, that people feel like, I don't have to earn my stripes. I am great. I'm Nadia Nakai.
Yeah, it's
try
ridiculous.
it, brother. Try it. Try it. You know, we do that and we forget the importance of earning the stripes, because it's in earning your stripe where you morph into this beast that you really truly believe that you will be.
100%, and that's what I was saying earlier, that I walk into rooms not saying I know everything. I walk into rooms because I'm continuously trying to learn. And I'll continuously learn from the people that I work with every single day, not even just Casper, but the people I collaborate with that are outside Family Tree, that are amazing in their own rights, you know. I mean, I recently did the Bry Show with AKA, which caused a lot of controversy and conversation.
I mean, I'm sure people were wondering.
Yeah, like what's going on. But that was the thing of, because I want to be able to learn from everybody, and I want to be able to, people to know that when I'm in situations that might be the ops, know that I have integrity, I have character. I'm not a person that's going to disrespect someone that's important to me just because I'm in the enemy's camp or whatever the case is, and vice versa. And I think there's a lot of, I'm at a stage where I'm trying to learn from everybody, and I'm trying to milk things from everybody, because I want to become a huge entity.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy that we constantly want the people we hate to be hated. I think for me that is the most crazy, because I don't know you until I know you. So if I don't know you and Cheryl hates you, that is your relationship with Shares.
Yeah.
I will have a different relationship to you. If down the road I feel like, okay, Cheryl was right, Nadia is kind of a B, then it's fine, because I've experienced you.
Yeah.
We have to give ourselves the opportunity to experience people, draw our own conclusion when it comes to people, especially in an industry where it's so cliquey. Our industry is so cliquey.
It is very cliquey.
Yesy. We click, this one is that one, this one is that one.
Yeah.
And you are like, but what are we all pushing? You know, what are we all pushing? So what's next? You've got Gen Z. Tell me about Gen Z.
Gen Z is super exciting. So it's a new lifestyle show. So people misunderstand, it's not just music. We talk about entertainment, we talk about music, we talk about money, relationships, sex. It's literally all encompassing the lifestyle and the culture of Gen Z. It's on Channel O. It is every Thursday at 6 p.m. My co-host is Tato. Tato is an amazing young Gen Z presenter. He's also from YoTV. He's 20 years old. We work very well together because I'm a millennial. So the reason why they got me on the show is because a lot of Gen Zers are looking up to the millennial grade, because we're the ones that really, you know, we push the doors and we
were moving. Yeah, you didn't joke.
100%.
Yeah,
so coming in my perspective, that's been through it and is seeing the new age come through, having my perspective on things is very important. But also having Tato, who is part of Gen Z, is much more important. Yeah. And we work very well together. So it's really, really dope. It's exciting. I can't wait for everybody to really catch on, because the first episode aired last week. This is the second episode, and people really need to get into it because it's fresh, new content. I feel like the last time we had a show that had this much energy and spice and rawness is Vuzu, and Vuzu's gone now. So definitely Gen Z is definitely that vibe.
What is on the horizon when it comes to the music spectrum of things?
So I am recording. I'm just not sure if I'm going to release this year. But I am recording. I'm working on an EP. It might become an album, because Nadia Naked was actually supposed to be an EP and it became an album. So I don't know.
Why an EP though? I always ask myself, if you've you dropped Nadia Naked in 2019.
Yeah.
So why would you need an EP like?
An EP is an EP. An EP is easier to work on. An EP is something that obviously there's thought behind it, but it's not as much in-depth thought as an album because you really have to find a golden string with the songs. It's a lot more stressful, a lot more intrinsic. It's working on the album was the most depressed I was in my life because it took 2 years. It's back and forth with producers and executive producers and the label and it's the worst and writers and yes, sis, it's working on an album takes a lot. You actually have to. That's why when you say album mode, don't call me because I have problems. I'm going through so much. I'm going through a lot.
What are you going through?
Yeah, no.
I am working on an album. I'm going through the most.
That's why you see like Nasty C whoever will say album mode because you must understand. Don't call me.
Don't call me.
Because it's very. I don't know how many boot camps I did. About 3 boot camps. It was bad. Hey, guys, if you don't understand working on an album. Yes. Anyway, so an EP is a lot easier. You can just put like a couple of your favorite songs. You want to give people a taste of what you might be working on the album, put it together and can get it out there. It's a lot quicker to do and it's less strenuous on your mental health.
And that's important. For you to keep going, you need
mental health.
Stability. Okay. So you are recording, you are hoping to put something out, just not sure if it's 2021.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's 2021. I'd love it to be 2021. I hope the vaccine, everybody gets it and that means COVID is gone and we will go back to normal. But I have a feeling it might be in another year. I'm not sure what year that might be.
Any audio visuals that we must be looking forward to, at least during COVID? Because, I mean, you're the screen girl now.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that those things might come out.
No, those still come out because, I mean, you don't need me to be on stage to consume that. So Practice is the new video that I just shot in Ghana with Vic Mensa, who's signed to Rock Nation, but he's originally from Ghana, so he was there and I flew out. It was an amazing experience. Yeah. I used a Ghanaian production company for the first time ever also because for the 8 years I've been in the game, I've used one production company in South Africa. And even when I was shot in Bali, I flew them out. So this time was a very nice change because I actually found a production company in Ghana and worked with them. Amazing. So that'll be coming out pretty soon, and then I'm going to be shooting for. Okay, I can't tell you. I'll tell you.
Why? Tell me.
No, because no.
No, but tell me. What are you shooting? Tell me what about.
I'm shooting for Creatures.
Ah, yes! It's been so long overdue.
Yeah.
When I listened to that album, I literally said, I don't know why this girl did not drop this song first.
I know.
This is the best song. I mean, I think that was also what was so wonderful about Nadia Naked is that it had so many different waves.
Yeah.
You know, there was a bit of that for everybody. So you liked a bit of trap and a bit of a noisy stuff, there's there. And then you liked a bit more quieter. Yeah. Even though pacey, it's still there. Yeah. So I found it a very whole project.
Thank you.
It was very holistic. And I think if that is definitely your first project, then
Thank you.
You set the bar too high. So
I know, you can understand
why. I know.
I'm not
I get it. Why you would go cuckoo? Why you would go there walking around like a crazy woman. I get it. But how was it working on that? I mean, yes, you used one production company like you said, but how was it? How was it now over that 2 years? Now you're seeing this project is coming out, the reception, and you even have the balls to now drop a deluxe because the reception had been so amazing for the actual project.
It's dope because I mean from the project I got my first gold plaque, which is for More Drugs, which is so exciting. Yeah. And I realized, I also learned a lot about my fans is that they don't, I used to think my fans just want club bangers. Yeah. I used to go into the studio and say I only work in club bangers. Then I realized when I unpacked what I was going through on More Drugs and Creatures, excuse me, those two have definitely become favorites with the people that listen to my music, and I realized they want so much more from you. So there's a big learning curve. And also the fact that the reason why I haven't shot so many videos for it because the pandemic happened. Because I mean, before we came out, I dropped the Namin music video, I dropped the I'm a Boss video, and then I dropped the Amai video. So I was on that trajectory to carry on, and then March 2020, then March 2020 came through and we all got shut down, and it became so demotivating, and it definitely stumbled my hustle when it comes to the album. So there's 2 more music videos from the album that I want to shoot with for Chankura, hopefully, and Creatures. And then from there, then I think I'm going to just focus on the new music because now it's becoming a thing of the music feels a bit dated for me. I'm no longer in that space anymore.
And when you look at the collaborations you've had and you are now envisioning your next project, what is the feel? What would you like, even from a collaborative perspective? And I mean, you can talk genre, not specifically people. But what's your vision telling you? What's like that third eye saying, this is what the next Nadia Naked would
it's
would
definitely
be.
Africa.
Yeah.
It's definitely Africa
Yeah.
because I've been traveling. The nice thing about also being so quiet and not having so many gigs is I've been able to travel in Africa. Being in Ghana, I worked with so many artists there. I was so unlocked to the Ghanaian drill scene because it's really big. I'm going to Tanzania now at the end of the month, so I want to be able to link up with this fine man.
Bring it over!
But he's married.
What a bore! Why are you telling me
know.
things that are boring?
But I want to get into the studio with him with Diamond Platinums because that man is so fun.
Oh, bore me!
Yeah.
Telling me about Mary Man.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
But what I'm saying is like I want each song to be having a feature from an African country that I did in that African country. So the nice thing about with Ghana, I've got a song with Stonebwoy. Super amazing, beautiful song. So when I go to Tanzania, I want to have a song with Diamond Platinums. If I go to Kenya, I want to have a song with Prezzo. If I, like, there's so many people that I really want to work with, but I want to be in their country working on that song.
So that you can get
That essence
cultured and
yes,
essence into,
100%.
get almost inducted and drawn into their own spaces.
100%, yeah.
Sure. Do you ever think of being a producer or diversifying to that part?
No,
of it?
I've got too much stuff on my plate. Now I'm going to sit down and produce beats. Yo, I know it. I don't have time. Ain't nobody got time for that. No. Ain't nobody got time for that.
What is it for you?
No.
It never intrigues you that much.
No, it's not exciting for me. And also, I don't like doing things for a long period of time. So I have to be sitting here going, what's the drum beat? What's the BPM?
And killing yourself
The
with the fact that you don't like it.
I know. I have no,
Yeah.
it's fine for the producers to be doing that. I'm not me. I'm okay.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And I know that you've spoken about it, about relationships gone bad and all of that. Does that influence your music as much as, a lot of musicians, every time Adele goes through something, people are like, yo,
her album
is coming.
Yes.
Does that influence you that greatly?
It does, ever since when I actually unpacked it on Nadia Naked.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But the problem is I can't record while I'm going through the heartbreak or the turmoil or whatever. I have to get over it.
It's still trauma then.
It's still traumatic,
Yeah.
So I can't think straight. I can't write properly. I'm a complete and dire mess. I have to really shut down and reset and then come back up, and then I can do it. It's like more drugs. I didn't write that song while I was going through that. I'd already gone over it and I was fine.
Yeah.
And then I reflected, and then I was able to write with a cognizant mind.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely getting to that place of healing. There's a lot of stuff that I've started now, like therapy. I'm consulting with a spiritual energy reader that's also assisting with me being able to cut soul ties with certain people and aid towards my actual personal well-being and healing process. And I think I'll soon be able to get back into recording fully.
Full mode,
and be able to unpack those stories with a lighter heart.
Listen, we just wanted to get you here so that we can catch up with you. So big things to come.
Yes,
there's a lot that we will expect from you. So I don't expect you to be a stranger
No.
in this realm. So well done for all your. I think Gen Z is looking amazing. I loved the Naked Room. I really did. So I can't wait to see what your album, EP, whatever project comes looks like. And just see what you become, in the entertainment space, because I think you've now passed the title musician or rapper. You've done other things, so I can't just term you Nadia Naked the rapper. No, it's way beyond
more,
that. It's way beyond that now.
You.
So
Thanks
well
so
done, keep shining, and let's see what you do next.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Fantastic.